A 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, hello.
Serious Rock Talk, back on the dial, traveling at a speed at a 33 1/3 RPMs. Sometimes you could go at 45 RPMs, where it is a faster speed, better sound.
That's true.
But the unfortunate part is you gotta get up and flip the other side more often than none. And 9 out of 10 times, you don't like the other side until you listen to it 1,000 times. I'm your host, Kennedy, and in the studio with me, a man who's friends with Gilbert O'Sullivan.
How do you know Gilbert O'Sullivan? He had 2 hits.
Yeah, I know.
Good for you.
Your name?
Great songs, though.
Your name, sir?
Dr. Ian Clark.
And today, in the studio, we have the duo known as Jake and Jackie. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Jackie and Jake, how's it going?
Pretty good, not too bad.
Pretty good.
We're in the studio all day, so pretty tired, but feeling good.
So you
Good.
leave one studio and you come to the Joni Sadler studio here in good old O-Town.
Life of rock and roll.
Life of rock and roll. And today we have a special interview with Jake and Jackie.
We do indeed.
And they're going to tell us about their lives and their music and things they like to do. And for those Quebec listeners, they're known as Jacques and Jacqueline.
Whoa. It is impressive, isn't it? Just to be able to do that like that.
Very impressed.
My God, I'm glad I'm sitting down.
Yes, and in Italian, actually, they're known as Giacomo and Gioconda.
Hey.
That's when you translate it to 3 languages.
Hey.
Which
That's
one's
it.
Jake and which one's Jackie?
Well, Gioconda would be Jackie, and Giacomo would be Jake.
Giacomo.
Giacomo. Cool. I had a barber down in Montreal by the name of Giacomo, or they go Giacomo.
I've heard that.
So I will open it up with the first question. Jake and Jackie, when was the band formed?
Well,
It's a long story.
Well, we got time. Go ahead.
I actually was not in the band originally. Jake
Right.
and Ty had
Tyler's our guitar player.
Okay.
had a band called Double Barrel where they did a lot of
We do like old school rock and roll stuff. Hendrix, Johnny Cash.
Oh, wow.
a lot of covers.
Stones, Beatles, just cover stuff. We were doing the Ottawa scene, just open mics, a few paid gigs here and there. Chateau Lafayette, Live in Elgin, places like that.
Right.
And it turned out, it started as just kind of like a for fun thing. And we're still doing it on the side, you know. But then I guess we hand it over to Lola. This is how she kind of comes into the picture.
I met his good friend, and she was like, "Oh my God, you sing!" And I was like, "Oh, you know, here and there." And she was like, "I think you'd love my friends," and gave me their Instagram, and I ended up scripting like 45 different paragraphs to send to them, and then asking my friends which one I should send to try to get in their band. Anyways,
wow.
I picked one, I sent it to their Instagram page and to Jake. And basically I was like, please let me in your band. Please.
Please.
So they ended up responding, and me and Jake seemed to hit it off really well. And yeah.
Yeah, so this was last summer. Well, before last summer, it was in the springtime. I was at school and I got a message from her saying, "Hey, met your friend. I play music, I write songs, and you know, as much as I like the rock and roll stuff, I've been kind of looking for something a bit different, kind of more singer-songwriter,
Yeah,
harmonies,
yeah.
duet stuff, because I'm also into the folk stuff as well. So as much as the rock and roll stuff I like the other stuff too. So that's what kind of Lola presented herself as. I was like, okay, well, this is a great opportunity. I'm never gonna turn down something, you know, like that. So I was like, let's see where it goes. So yeah, that whole summer we started playing together and writing songs and stuff. So
But folk is important. I always found that folk music kind of formed rock and roll
100%.
and hard and
Yeah.
classic rock. you know, it has to start somewhere.
It does. It
you
really
know?
does.
It's
So,
all relative,
all relative.
and it's beautiful. You brought up the folk that you see. You know, you know, you listen to folk, you play some folk, you're inspired by folk.
Yeah.
You know, folk is important because in Italy, there was a folk artist. He passed away last year. It was Toto Cutugno, and Toto Cutugno is the same level as Neil Young, Bob Dylan. That he opened the door for all these guys.
Yeah.
So if you don't have these guys to start it off, you know, same with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. They started off quite folky, and I think they pretty well
super
still were.
folky.
Yeah. So it's great. I'm happy to hear that you appreciate that stuff because, you know, obviously we do.
Yeah.
And I know Jackie appreciates that stuff too.
Yeah, it's like kind of funny too because a lot of people are, oh, well, what genre do you do? But we do everything. Like,
Yeah,
it's
right.
kind of a mix. And I feel like that's what all music is, and that's how music evolves too, is if you just mix and match different genres.
No,
It's true. I mean, country and folk are often so close for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hear country, that's 3-chord. That's pretty close to folk.
Yeah.
like, what do you think Eagles
Folk
are?
with some twang.
Leonard
I mean,
Skinner.
yeah, exactly.
The Southern. Well, no, Eagles are L.A., which is kind of weird, but
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
California.
yeah, they're kind of. They're
Country
cunts,
rock, really.
you know.
Country rock, but you know, they had a wide range too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Spanned a lot of genres.
Anyone loves the Eagles.
Yeah. She doesn't
Yeah.
actually. She
What?
Okay,
Yeah.
calling me out. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
I'm listening.
Jake does beautiful, beautiful covers
Well, thank you.
of these songs. And I was like, oh my goodness, why have I never heard these songs before? What are they? Let me look them up. So I looked them up and I don't like them as much as Jake's. And
Oh, that's
I'm
interesting.
so
You're just
sorry.
gassing me up now.
No, I'm not actually. I'm not actually. He's terrible. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but what's that one song that I loved?
Desperado?
Desperado.
Oh, yeah.
This man
their
pulled
second
out.
album. That's their second album, I think. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good album.
This man pulled out, just sat down on a piano, and started playing that song, and I was like, "What? Did you write this? Like, what?" I was blown away, and it was beautiful, and I was
Yeah, that's
obsessed with it. So I started videotaping, and I listened to the original version, and I didn't like it as much. Does that make me a bad person? Does that make me a
Little bit.
bad musician?
No, you're just loyal to Jake.
Oh my goodness, I don't know what it is, but
Listen, sometimes, the original guy, the cover version's better. It just is.
I'm not like
it's
that though. I usually hate the cover.
I know,
versions.
so do I.
Yeah, but if you look at Nirvana as The Man Who Sold the World and then the original version by David Bowie, Nirvana's is 10 times better.
Yeah, I don't know.
Really?
Bowie's is pretty good.
I don't know. You know, Summertime Blues has been redone a few times.
Endless.
A little too many times.
How can't you do that? Yeah, but
Rush even did it.
did they?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Rush did the Eddie Cochran.
No way.
Yeah,
I don't see
Summertime.
that. Talk about your style of music. So, well, how would you describe it?
It's a mix. I
It's a
always
mix.
said I hated country because I was ignorant. Let's put it that way. But I was like, oh, no country. And then I met Jake and I started listening to more country, and he's like, country is rock and roll.
It really is.
Because I love rock and roll. My mom raised me on like Bruce Springsteen 100%.
Oh, yeah.
She loves Bruce. Our dog's name is Bruce. Posters of him all over. My mom loves him. Absolutely loves him. So like I was raised on rock and roll, but less so country until I met Jake, and then I was like, listen to this, and then we watched the Johnny Cash,
Walk the Line, Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good movie.
and that also opened my eyes to like how things are made and stuff, and it's just, it sounds very, I feel like Johnny Cash to me sounds kind of country at times. So
Oh,
it's, like,
yeah.
The Man in Black.
He's in my opinion, he's kind of his own thing. It's hard to put him in a box.
true.
but,
This is true, I guess.
He's like rebel country,
Yeah,
rebel
he's-
rock.
Yeah.
He's the OG.
He is. He's
They
the-
didn't like Johnny Cash in Nashville for a long time.
Because he was too much of an outlaw.
Yeah,
That
he
to me
was
is rock and roll.
He was a different. I remember when I was a kid, he had his own show, and he would have like Bob Dylan on,
Yeah.
and this everyone else in Nashville. Bob who? This whiny little voice, but because usually you would have guys of that period on, like Waylon Jennings or something. You wouldn't have Bob Dylan. He brought on everybody. Johnny Cash didn't care. He was a badass guy from the beginning.
Yeah.
So you need,
Which
we
I-
need more of those guys.
Yeah, I feel like it makes him so cool because he didn't stick to who's popular.
He just didn't play that game.
And he didn't care. Stomping out the footlights on stage. And,
Yeah, he was a wild man.
yeah.
There's that whole conspiracy that they're saying that all these people that are famous, they said that they're using the whole religion that they sold their soul to the devil, right? And the biggest example they said is Taylor Swift, right? And I'm like, well, good, who cares? It's not going to change my life, you know? So what? She sold her soul to the devil. Good. That means that bye.
Bye.
What do I care?
Good luck.
Good luck. Hasta luego. Ciao. Ci vediamo. You know. So,
What else you got there, buddy?
well, the next question I have is for. Like, what was your first experience with making music together? I guess the two of you or the band in general.
Yeah.
First experience. It was the first time I had you over. The first time I met her.
Yeah.
We already kind of like sat down and were like, oh, what should we play?
I was nervous. I was sweating.
Yeah. And we pulled out, I think it was either You Should Probably Leave by Chris Stapleton.
I think it was that one.
Yeah.
Or Jersey Giant.
Jersey Giant by the Tyler Childers one. And she was just like awesome with the harmonies right off the bat. And we had a moment. Like, it was like,
Yeah, it
there's
was
something here
crazy.
for
We
sure.
just like
Yeah.
completely fell into sync, like first time playing together, which was like really rare. in
Doesn't
my
happen
opinion.
often.
No.
No,
So
it
that was
doesn't.
cool.
So yeah, it was basically just kind of a meet up, see what happens, just try some cover songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like, okay, there's clearly something there, so let's
We
see what
kept
happens.
going.
Yeah.
And then I've been writing music since I was like 7.
Oh, wow.
I got my first guitar and I strummed it with no chords and I wrote a song and I sat my whole family down and I let them listen to it. And it was awful. It was really bad, but I never stopped writing. And like they eventually got a bit better.
Do you still have that song?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm not doing this one.
Put it on the album.
Yeah, absolutely not.
It's a filler, right? 'Cause remember, you need a filler, right?
the highlight.
yeah, you have to put a
No.
filler. If you have
No.
9 tracks, then we need a 10th.
If my mom was listening to this, she'd be like, I know this one. I know this
She's gonna
one.
be singing it right now.
Yeah, she'd be singing it.
The fact that you remember it's pretty good, too.
But Jake, I remember every word.
Wow.
Jake didn't write.
At all.
And I thought his voice was way too beautiful. I told him, you have so much potential. You can't just be a cover band. And I
nice.
sat down with him, and we sat down at like 4. How late was it? It was late.
It was late.
And I was like, okay, we're picking a topic. We're going to describe everything about it first, talk about it, get in the scene. And then we're going to write a song about it, depending, like, no matter how bad it is. So we chose like a white house. And it's a beautiful white house. It's their dream white house. And there's everything you could ever want, a wraparound porch, but there's no one there. So it's like an empty sitting
Yeah,
house.
nice.
Like you have everything, but you're alone kind of concept, you know?
Yeah.
And she kind of looked at me and she's like, try something off the spot. I'm like, no, there's no way. And we're playing, and we keep going. She's like, just do it. And it started to work. Something about that moment. And after that, I was like, maybe I can write.
Yeah.
And I got to thank Lola for that, because ever since that, I was like, yeah, I've been writing my own stuff. So
Oh, good.
I'll
Sorry.
always forever be in debt to Lola for that.
Just
To
for
Jackie,
kicking it
so-
off. Yeah.
But
I
that's
also
good.
go,
Right.
my name is Lola, but I go by Jackie.
It's
for
your moniker.
the
The
confused
moniker of
listeners.
Jackie.
Anyways, yeah. And then he sent me this kick-ass song. And I was like, where did you pull this out of?
And what was your answer, Jake? I just want to know.
Well, that would divert this podcast into a whole other direction. But one word is heartbreak.
Yeah. There you go.
Something like that. Maybe that's not the right word.
I
Something along
it's-
those lines.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, beautiful song. It's on the album, actually.
Oh, good.
We're looking forward to this. Actually, I'm getting excited now.
Everybody that looks at this situation, they're like, yeah, you guys are in a Fleetwood Mac
Yeah,
story.
right.
There is a vibe. I got it when you. So whenever Jackie told me,
Yeah.
I had it in the back of my head.
Yeah.
And I said, I got to see this for myself.
Yeah.
And as you guys walked in to the studio, I said, yeah, okay, like, no, man, I'm getting an invite to something down the road. And, I'll show up and, we'll write a check like we always do with the card. That's what Italians do at these big events. And that was, yeah, no, I feel it, man. And it's great. And I love it, actually. And I think, and I believe this is what will keep you guys keep going and writing stuff.
Yeah.
Because, the Fleetwood Mac, that is the...
That might not be a great example of Fleetwood
I mean,
Mac.
it's complicated. I'll give you that. It's complicated
Yeah.
and it's really hard, but makes really good music.
So are you Christy McVie or are you Stevie Nicks?
That's a question for maybe another.
Are you Lindsay or Mick?
I don't know.
Question for another time.
Yeah.
Who's the other? Am I missing anybody else in that band?
There's a few. Peter Green.
Oh,
I
Peter
don't know.
Green. Yeah, but it won't be Peter Green.
Older stuff.
Yeah.
So if we talk about influences, when you were kind of getting interested in music, I was in a few bands myself, and I learned to play the guitar with the Beatle book. How did you learn to play instruments? Let's look at it that way. Did you just sit down and say, yeah, I got to figure this out? Or what's
Well,
that chord progression? Or
Yeah, so I started on, I mean, my family made me play classical piano
Oh,
since I
okay.
was about 5. And when I hit the age of 10 or 11, I was like, I don't really want to do this anymore. Like, I started getting into old blues,
yeah,
old rock and roll, like Jerry Lee Lewis. And I grew up on Johnny Cash. I loved all that stuff.
you're right.
And I had this phase where I was like really listening to a lot of 1950s rock and roll, rockabilly stuff. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
there's a pattern here, eh? I started
Yeah.
to hear it because I was learning music theory and stuff. I just started to go down the rabbit hole of how does this rock and roll stuff work? How does this blues stuff work? And I picked up the guitar, used YouTube, learned on YouTube,
Okay.
and just kind of took off from there.
That's-
So that's kind of how I first started playing instruments. And then in terms of influences, yeah, like whole wide range. I mean, when I was born, my mom had Bob Marley playing in the delivery
Oh,
room.
wow.
So that was the first music I love reggae, country, rock and roll, rap, everything. But primarily, first I can remember Bob Marley, Johnny Cash,
Wow.
somewhere in the middle.
That's a spread.
Yeah.
It's a good spread, actually. It's a good mix.
What about
Mine, well, my first ever instrument was a guitar, I
Right.
believe. And I can't remember if my uncle or my mom, my uncle plays guitar. He's phenomenal. He's in a band.
okay?
And definitely got me intrigued. And when I got my first guitar, I think my parents got so sick of hearing me strum an open guitar with no chords that they just put me in lessons. They're like, stop, please. So, and then after that, I just used YouTube and stuff like that. And then I started playing a little bit of piano. I took some lessons for a while, but I was never really a classical piano kind of person. I always gravitated more to the guitar.
Right.
And then just like little instruments along the road, a
Yeah.
little bit of saxophone in high school,
Yeah.
like you know
Yeah,
how it
yeah,
goes.
yeah.
But recently, I've been gravitating a lot towards harmonica.
She bought a whole friggin' pack.
I bought a whole pack of harmonicas.
What, different keys or something?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm super stoked about it. I'm super excited from my uncle actually. But my influences were probably my uncle, honestly.
Yeah.
Because no one in my family is really musical other than my uncle, but he's great. He's a phenomenal guitarist, and he works at Long McQuaid too.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
But as far as influences go, my influences were a lot different. I feel like as far as vocals, when I really got into singing, and I had a choir teacher that really helped me, like when I was younger, and that's what really got me in thinking, oh, maybe this is something that's not just school choir. Maybe I want to do more with it.
Right.
But my dad always had this like electronic music on, kind of, you know?
Yeah.
And it was different. It's like I wasn't, well, obviously my mom loves Bruce and whatever. We played that stuff around the house. But my main vocal influence was this girl named Banks. And she's not very popular, but she's pretty big. But I just loved her. She was weird. Her voice was so different. And I was like, I want to sound like that. I want to sound weird and someone can spot me out of a group.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
wanted to sound different. I think that's where I got a lot of my vocal inspiration from, was
Okay.
her.
I do want to make a special shout out to one more influence.
Sure.
Ottawa's very own Lucky Ron.
Lucky Ron.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he's probably been here a couple times, eh? In sometime in history.
In here, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, but yeah, every Saturday at the Chateau Lafayette. And anyway, my parents. I grew up with my parents bringing me to the show, and so basically since I was a baby, and so that was probably some of the first live music I've seen. So just watching him, he's got a super percussive style of playing,
Okay.
the acoustic, and every one of his shows. I mean, especially back in the day, growing up seeing him play,
Yeah.
just the way that he strummed the guitar and it was super loud in there, shoulder to shoulder, the amount of energy that was in that bar, it was just insane, and it really inspired me to start kind of wanting to be like that. So I think if I wasn't exposed to that at a young
Yeah.
age, I would not be the musician I am today. So
So
big
s-
shout out to Ottawa's very own Lucky Ron.
And you know what? It's kind of funny too because I listened to him play and I saw how he played guitar and his style. And then when I saw Lucky Ron for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh.
There you go.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely very, very similar styles on the guitar.
Well, it's good that you have at least like a local influence, someone close to you, whether it's a family member, a relative, or a friend,
Yeah.
that kind of guides you into that direction. And, obviously the shout outs are always wonderful. It's the little things that they'll appreciate, right? It's all about, I inspired that individual. I inspired, this girl to sing, and it's good to hear that.
That's where I paid for like my first guitar myself too, with my McDonald's job in
It's
high
a
school.
lot of money. Okay,
Yeah.
a new guitar.
Well, yeah, it was a lot of money. But I
Yeah.
still have that guitar. I use it
Oh,
for
good.
gigs and everything still.
It's a great
It's in the
guitar.
back
It's
of my
not
car
before.
right now.
Well, this is actually good because the next question that we're coming up to is kind of relating now to this creativity. So how does the songwriting take place, and describe like a creative process based on a piece or an album, or now someone that influenced you, or that's something that's particularly dear to you. Was there an album that you say, you know what, I like that album? Like you talked about Johnny Cash, and Jackie's talking about Bruce Springsteen, right? So is there an album that helps get you inspired, or you think of moments, things, memories?
For me, honestly, a lot of albums. Like it's really hard to narrow it down to one. But for instance, Hozier, I don't know what his album is called, but I listen to it all the time with my family in the car. Like that album is still on repeat for me years later.
Right.
His first one, the one would Take Me to Church.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and
That one.
Demons, Angels, and Demons. Yeah.
Yeah, and that one's just so cool because I got exposed to like this different kind of like lyrics that you really had to think about it. You had to think about it, and it wasn't just like a clear vision. I really liked that he had so many descriptive wording, and I thought my songs were pretty basic and not very descriptive, and that made me kind of want to reach out and be more descriptive and make the audience think a little bit harder about what I had to say instead of painting a clear picture,
That's a very dark album, though, the Hozier album.
That's why I loved it. I see that's the difference between me and Jake and why we work so well together. I am a very dark writer. Like I feel like I'm very sad, dark, depressing, and Jake is so happy and hopeful that when we blend our two styles together, it just
Right.
creates a perfect balance.
Lennon
kind of
McCartney.
thing,
There you go.
You know what? That's exactly what someone else said to me today. It's
Well,
just funny.
Lennon alone was pretty bitter. McCartney is getting better all the time, right? Everything's upbeat.
I think for me, there's that one we did when Zach Bryan released his last album, the one that's just called Zach Bryan.
Yeah.
I think it's a masterpiece, and we did a listening party,
Right.
and
We did.
I think that album in itself, the feeling that I get from listening to that in its entirety, is the closest to how I feel when I'm writing, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And in terms of the writing process, we have different styles for sure. I think when we're coming up with stuff together, usually I'm just kind of come up with some kind of riff, whether it's a riff or a chord progression or
Yeah.
whatever, and Lola just kind of freestyles it. And she's really good at that, and that's what first impressed me the most about her too. Is just I'll come up with something on the spot musically, and then she can just come up with a melody, lyrics. So that's one way we do it. And then when I'm doing the stuff that I primarily write, I have to be alone.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah.
We kind of go our separate ways to write lyrics.
And then we come together and kind of
Yeah.
like,
put
okay,
them
I have
together.
this. What do you think about that? And we'll send it to each other, and we'll work on it, and we'll get together, and then we'll put
And
it
then
together
just
after that.
kinda Fits.
That's the thing, is there's no real formula to this, right? Everybody
Right.
has their own
Yeah.
style, and
There's
that's just
also
what
a
works
lot
for
of
us.
droughts. Like there's a lot of dry areas where
Oh,
you want to
yeah.
write so bad and it just nothing's working. And
Well, it's good that you have this collaboration, that you do it separately, because if you take a perfect example, Bernie Taupin and Elton John, Elton would do the piano work and Taupin would come in with the lyrics, and they have this, it's not a love-hate relationship, it's a love relationship.
Yeah.
They've had their disagreements, but for 50 plus years, these guys have hammered it out. He's in one room writing out songs.
Yeah.
So you guys have this collaboration that you're like to be alone when you write it. you have your own methods that you want to do, and then you guys get together, and then boom, the song blends.
That's where the most magic happens.
There's your serendipity.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to use that word, now I used it
Exactly.
properly.
Wow.
I also
you go.
feel like when we write so different. Like he'll write his words to like a slower pace, and
Right.
we will play it one way and it won't work, and then we'll just completely change the chords and pick it up, and then that song works perfectly for another thing. Like it's so random.
Yeah, it's random, all right.
Yeah.
What do you find difficult about being a musician? We've asked this with other people, and it ranges from, oh, there's no money in it, or the future's kind of hazy, or whatever. But every answer is different.
For me, mine is like prominent. Like I know mine off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
what's that?
My whole life, I've just thought that I was just not like good enough.
Oh,
And I feel like as a musician, you look up to all these people and you hear all these songs and you think, wow, I wish I could do that.
yeah, right.
I wish I could play guitar like that. I wish I could sing like that. I wish I could, I wish I had a different voice. But the beauty in it is that I don't have the same voice as everyone else.
Anybody else.
And that's really good,
That's the
right?
beautiful thing.
But it takes me a while to like
Yeah.
remember that the uniqueness is good. The uniqueness is a part of it,
I was watching a video of you guys. I don't know the name of the song, but you're on a garden swing.
Yeah.
No,
Just
porch light.
Yeah,
Josh
and it's.
Malloy.
I just put that on, and for a second, I'm a big fan of Graham Parsons and Emmylou Harris, and that's what it sounded like to me at the beginning. And you don't get better than that, Graham Parsons. I mean, Emmylou Harris,
Oh, thank you.
and he was pre-Eagles in terms of country rock.
Right.
He was with the Byrds for a little bit. Sweetheart of the Rodeo is another great album, but that's what I heard. That kind of a casual two-part harmony.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah. I didn't know that. I couldn't see the name of it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's called Porch Light by Josh Malloy.
Okay, there you go. It was
He's a-
really nice.
he's a
And
kind
the
of-
mashup you did too, by the way, with the Stapleton.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
actually really fun to do because we always did
Oh, yeah.
Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah.
And then I decided, I was like, oh my God, this is in the same key as I'd Rather Go Blind.
Oh,
and
wow.
I just stood right up and was like sassy and all and started singing that part over. And then his dad walked out and was like, oh my God, what the heck did you guys just do? Like, do that again.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then it just kind of stuck and we recorded it, and it's really hard. It's really, really hard to nail it.
Yeah.
But when we do, it sounds really great.
Which is you discovered something too, because the riff that is in that Etta James song
Yeah.
is literally exactly the same as Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton. So I don't know if Stapleton's paying any royalties or anything, but same exact chord progression, same riff, and that's why it worked so well. It was literally the same freaking songs.
These songs, like I'd Rather Go Blind, that's a really hard song to sing.
It is.
You know what I mean? You look at it, and there's four chord, but it's such an attitude song. When you hear Etta James or Beth Hart or somebody sing that song, this is a really difficult song to sing.
Yeah.
It's not like a typical, I don't know, there's some songs that are really easy. So you did a good job on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had to put on a mask
Did you?
and a cute little outfit and
Oh,
sing
yes.
my heart out and pretend like I was screaming at an ex-boyfriend, which is really ironic.
I got the question I want to ask is for like performances, whether together or with Double Barrel. Has there been any performances so far that you've considered your favorite? I know you consider, what is it? You go by Ottawa Valley, the Ottawa Valley band. That's what it's something with Ottawa Valley. Ottawa Valley's rock. I was looking at your Facebook.
Oh, the hair. You mean the?
98.7?
Ottawa. We just called her. Yeah, the Ottawa Valley rock and roll or something.
That's
like
it.
that,
Yeah, I love that. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, these guys are definitely, right from the good old country parts of Ottawa, because what people
Well,
don't know.
Really, we're from West End Ottawa, Nepean, but we play in the Ottawa Valley.
I know.
Renfrew.
I was thinking Arm Prior, Almont.
We try and put on that image.
Well, it's a good
Pretend
image.
Like we're somebody that we're not. But
I'm like, man, they're coming far to come and see us from the studio. That's like an hour drive.
I know mine hands down. I know my favorite song we've ever performed and the time we ever performed. Like, Jake shouted at Lucky Ron before, but he has this thing every year. that's
Lucky
like-
Ron Friends and Family event. at his
Oh, it is
barn.
beautiful. And it's such a wholesome event. And everyone there is so weird in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And we both fit right in. Like, it's so awesome. No one's judgmental. No one's anything. Everyone just comes for the music, comes for the fun, comes for the fire. It's a beautiful event, and I am grateful that I had Jake to bring me there, because that's definitely been my favorite event we've ever performed at, for
Yeah,
sure. This
there's-
year was really fun too.
I would say the same for me too, because it's I mean, he's got this old barn, and he set up his own stage and own sound system, and it's very laid back, and you know, I think our best performances have been there, just having a good time. There's like, you know, pigs walking around, goats,
Yeah,
there's donkeys. Like,
it's awesome.
yeah,
it's really, really
But
cool.
we did kill the last performance. I think that was
We did
our last one. Was it
Jackson, actually,
Jackson by Johnny Cash and June Carter.
Oh, I know it.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that's a great duet.
in the same mic and everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
same
Yeah.
attitude on stage.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really fun.
Now, Lucky Ron, does he have this farm in Nepean, or is it out?
No, this is in Renfrew. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
in
it's
Renfrew.
yeah, dead smack in the center of Nepean.
There we go. Yeah, right at the Sportsplex.
Even though you guys, you know, you're starting out, what kind of advice would you give to like an 18-year-old who's interested in music and maybe wants to make a career out of it?
Don't be worried about comparing yourself to other musicians.
Yeah, right.
Because like what Lola said earlier, yeah, you're not going to sound like anybody else, but you're not going to sound like anybody else, you know, in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
You don't, there's nobody that's going to be like you. You are by definition, yourself in this universe. Nobody else exists like you. So
That's
embrace
right.
it and work with it, and maximize your own potential. Don't worry about what's going on around you. That's the best thing I can say.
that's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, my dad always says this. He just says, you can't think, you just need to feel.
Yeah,
You just need to feel how you feel the music, feel feel
yeah.
everything, because I get in my head, I think too much all the time,
You're
and I
right.
mess it up, and then I think more about how I messed it up. You know, I'm just that kind of person. But when I take a minute and I feel everything around me and all my surroundings, and I feel the music especially, like, everything goes well. And so that's the only advice I have.
That's pretty good.
That too, I would think those two pieces of advice are applicable to life too in general.
From what I understand now, Jack, you're going to be traveling for a bit. You're going to the land down under
I am. I'm going to Australia on his birthday,
on
actually.
his birthday.
Wow.
So my question is, how... make sure I read this right. How does where you're going to live affect your music career?
That's a great
Temporarily.
question. That's a great question. Actually, Jake is in school in Czech Republic right now, and has been for the past few years.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it was already pretty tough
Very
to
tough.
do music. We would just FaceTime or send songs back and forth and then ideas, but the time difference and everything, it's going to be hard. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be really hard.
yeah.
Especially, like, that's why we're trying to get the album done so quick, and we're pressed for time. We're both stressed out. Like, it's not an easy thing,
Yeah.
especially when we have a deadline
Yeah, right.
of when we're both getting on planes and going opposite directions. It's very hard. I'm very excited. I'm very grateful that I have the chance to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
right. No, it's true.
But I mean, that's kind of why we're doing the album too, because you never know what could happen. I mean, that could divert our life plans too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If
Never say never.
something comes of it, are we really going to turn that down?
No.
If it's a really big opportunity for our career, probably not. So I'm going to go. He's going to go. Whatever happens, happens. But when it's time for us to call it quits and come back home and
That's what
get
we're
in
doing.
the studio, go on tour, we agreed.
You're going to be living in different areas, different cultures, different time zones. There's going to be numerous inspirations you're going to come across. Lola's going to be battling 80% of the world's dangerous animals, and you're going to have some of the finest beer out there, my friend. And probably we're all like, you know, some of the good record pressings come out of the Czech Republic lately, which is kind of
That's
interesting if
true.
you're into vinyl. So there is going to be
Yeah.
some major inspirations for the two of you, and you're still fairly young, that this is going to sit in your long-term memory. And you guys are obviously going to still keep in touch.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite venue worldwide that you would like to perform at?
Oh,
Worldwide.
where is that place with the rocks?
Red Rocks.
Red
Colorado.
Rocks.
Red Rock?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would start sobbing. I don't think I could even play. I would just be crying the whole time.
That one's up there for me too. Maybe Ryman Auditorium in Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it.
That's
I like that. These are good venues. Like, no, you didn't say Wembley, which is kind of nice. You know, Red Rocks. The only band that I know that Bare Naked Ladies performed at Red Rocks.
A lot of bands.
That's the only band you know that performed there?
Well, the only one because of the album.
That's it?
Well, I'm sure there's more. You know, how about the Danforth Music Hall? Anyone want to go there?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, they had some great bands there.
Yeah, Massey Hall.
Oh yeah, Massey too.
Yeah.
Honestly, like there's I can't remember what it's called, and my mom would look at me and be like, "What? How do you not remember?" I would go see Harry Styles at this small venue in Toronto, and it's kind of like a church almost.
Oh, Masonic Temple.
Maybe.
I saw the Ramones there and Iggy Pop and all these guys.
Cool.
It was just so
Yeah, this is in the
intimate
70s.
and
Nice.
Yeah,
so small.
pretty
And
small.
There was another one in Montreal too, where I saw one of my favorite bands, and the glass paint, like, oh, I don't know what it was. It was just beautiful. Like, it was small, intimate, and I really want to play in the intimate because I feel like I get to know the crowd more. You know, like I feel like when I see artists, I like when it's a smaller venue because you can connect with the people who love you so much and who are coming to see you. And was a musician up there, I'd want to connect with the people that are spending money to come see me. Like, I think that's crazy, you know?
So the Horseshoe Tavern in Toronto would be a good place if you like the small
yeah.
venues.
Yeah.
It was good.
Whiskey A Go-Go in L.A.
Whiskey's really small.
Yeah. Where's the Fillmore?
It's East and West. They used to be.
That's in the States?
Well, it was. The
Oh.
Fillmores are gone now.
Okay, so you always get these bands live at the Fillmore East, live at the Fillmore West, you know?
There's also the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville too.
Oh,
It's
yes.
a pretty big one. That's
Yeah,
intimate.
that'd be fun.
You know, there's the Nashville, for your style of music that you guys are aiming for. Yeah, Garth Brooks will be coming there to see you guys with Trisha Yearwood and, you know.
Post Malone was just there with his new country stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, see, there's another guy.
he's doing a different genre every year, I feel like, and he's
Yeah.
killing it too.
At first, when he first came out, I wasn't quite sure what to think about him. Then when he collaborated with Ozzy Osbourne, because I'm a huge Ozzy guy,
that was a great track.
I'm like, you know what? All right, I like you now. I really do. And if Ozzy says you're cool, that works for me. So I listen to certain people. Ozzy, Dana White. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Right there. Okay, well, before we do end, is there any information you want to share, like where fans could connect with you, whether it's
That's
IG,
good.
whether
Really
it's a
good.
website, if they could find you on Spotify, anything, YouTube.
It's been a little confusing because I've been called Jackie and Lola, but my name is Lola. I am now going by Jackie May.
okay.
So, what's your Instagram?
This is
Plug
a
it.
funny question. I haven't changed my name yet. My Instagram right now is Lola Young.
But what will it be?
Will it be?
It
That's the
will
big
be
question.
Jackie May.
Okay.
Jackie.May.
Yeah, and if you guys can't find her, just check out the Serious Rock Talk Instagram, and we have
We'll put that in.
Jackie May.
we'll put
Yeah,
that,
you guys can.
We'll put that up on our
Under,
website.
And
Jacob Carberry _.
This is what I tell everyone at
Carberry.
work. I'm like, oh, you want to follow them on Instagram? Here you go. Here's his Facebook. Here's his Instagram.
Yeah, we got you. We got Jacob. Lola's a little bit more low key.
Yeah.
You know? But now it's gonna be Jackie May.
Jackie May.
Well, the main issue is because her name is already someone else's
Yeah.
name.
Oh,
Some other
okay.
This
performer.
UK artist. She's actually pretty cool. She's really cool. I like her a lot.
Lola Young.
Lola Young. But I was like, I can't use that anymore. And
Yeah.
my middle name is May, and Jackie's just a name that's very dear to my heart. So
So she goes by Lola Young. We could go by Lola Young.
Lola Young.
YUNG. Lil Young.
Oh, Lil Young.
Lil Young.
Lil Young. So it's a rap country type of, like a Post
Yeah.
Malone thing.
For sure. Maybe I'll have to scratch the Jackie May completely.
No, we like the Jackie May. I think it sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good. Well, that's great. I'm glad you guys came on. Please, if you want to come back again when you're in Canada, or if I'm in Australia, I'll just,
Oh yeah, pop by.
pop by.
Phone
Swing
in.
over.
You guys could phone in.
You can phone in. But this is great. I'm glad you guys came on, and I wish you both success right now going into different countries.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I
you
could
so much.
sense lots of inspiration is going to happen. And obviously, we have each other on social media, so yes, we'll keep in touch. And let me know what's happening. If
you.
there's a song that
Yeah.
come out, we'll let me know, and
Let us know.
We'll do.
Perfect.
And we'll put it
Please.
on.
we'll put
Yeah.
it on.
So we're
If,
we're in the studio right now, and we're gonna be done recording on Saturday. So
Wow.
after that album's done
We'll
or the
send
EP's
you
done.
guys the stuff.
Yep.
and you
Yeah, send
can
send
play
us
it
links.
if you'd like.
Yeah. So when's your actual release date, do you think, for the album?
I'm not
It's
sure.
going to be sometime in end of September, probably.
Really, we're okay.
End of September.
Sorry, I was not aware of that. That's super awesome. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm suspecting it's
stoked.
gonna be
I'm really
on that.
excited.
Are you doing any? You guys doing CDs, vinyls, digital?
It's good. Well, we're going to release it on Spotify and Apple Music.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're going to for sure do some CDs as well. If we play
I would
live
love
shows,
a
distribute
vinyl.
some.
That would be
That'd
sweet.
be fun, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I don't know if we can.
Send
We'll
it to
see if
my
we can. Yeah.
father.
Definitely would like to do the vinyl. Yeah.
We're gonna sign off. So you guys want to say any shout outs before we sign off?
Shout out to Lucky Ron.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lucky Ron.
Yeah.
Lucky
Okay.
Ron. All right. Shout,
Shout
out to
out
Lucky
to my
Ron.
family.
And to the, all right, to the family. Dr.
Shout
Clark.
out to Jake.
To Jake.
Shout out to Jackie.
Shout
Shout out
out
to
to
CHUO.
Mr. Kennedy here.
Shout out to the rest of the Double Barrel crew.
Shout out to Tyler
Shout out Tyler.
and Jake.
And
Other
Jake.
And
Other
Jake.
There are a lot of shout outs.
Jake's the other drummer.
Yeah, you want us to keep going?
Hey, Keith Snyder.
Oh,
the
Keith.
fiddle
Shout
in
out
the band.
Keith.
Okay,
What a
okay,
sweet
okay.
guy. What a sweet, sweet man.
This is out of control now.
That's
Yeah.
it. Well, all right.
Shout out you guys.
Oh,
Yeah, there
Thanks
you
for
go.
having us on.
Thank you for
it
having
was
us.
our
It's
pleasure.
been our treat.
Well, I'm going to sign off, and Dr. Clark.
Adios, amigos.
All right. Have yourself a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.